On Sunday, the 24th of April 1988, Luton Town won their first major soccer trophy in what was the 103rd year of the club's history. They travelled to Wembley to meet Arsenal in the final of the Littlewoods Cup and beat the Gunners by 3-2 in what is generally considered to be one of the most exciting Wembley Cup Finals, and certainly the most thrilling final of the League Cup competition.
The teams coming out of the tunnel, and on our side, the near side of the field, is George Graham, and alongside him, the very debonair-looking Ray Harford. It's the 1988 Littlewoods Cup Final. It's Luton Town against Arsenal. It's about to get underway, and off we go. In comes the ball for Ashley Grimes.
It's the winner.
Luton have scored.
Brian Steen.
Brian Steen has scored the goal from close range. And David Evans waves his arms in the air as Steve Foster holds that trophy aloft.
Celebrations in bright spring sunshine on what had started off as a day of doubt. The Hatters had had a promising start to the 1987-88 league season, but had slipped dramatically as Cup Final day approached, their away form a cause for concern. They had reached Wembley in the final of the Seamount Cup and suffered a shock 4-1 defeat at the hands of Second Division Reading. They'd lost to Wimbledon in the semi-final of the FA Cup at White Hart Lane and gone out of the Football League Centenary Festival finals at Wembley to Manchester United at the first round stage. There was speculation that manager Ray Harford and his team would end their season with nothing to show for their endeavours. Undaunted, Hatters fans left Luton on that April Sunday, determined to cast aside the doubts, don their colours and cheer the Hatters to victory.
Littlewoods Cup scarf for my lunch. A hat, yeah, store boater, rosettes, 2 scarves. I'm decked out in the colours.
People could mistake you for an Arsenal fan though, couldn't they?
Go away.
While Ken Wilson was with the fans boarding coaches at Kenilworth Road, Paul Gibson was at the team hotel talking to manager Ray Harford about the difficult task of selecting a team.
Very difficult, not many changes, there was a couple, but that's been the hardest job, is selecting and telling people they're not playing.
How did the team take it in general? I mean, obviously Mark's team must have been pretty gutted in national times.
It's a natural reaction to be disappointed, and no problems.
Was it obviously based on form, was it? The selection?
Based on lots of things. Based on lots of everything. Fitness, form, attitude, preparation, and the experience of the last cup final.
A brave selection by the Hatters manager Ray Harford. One man whose inclusion was never in doubt was Brian Steen, the Luton player in his testimonial season after 10 years loyal service. For Brian, it was the big one.
This is the day we really want to do well.
And the preparations all gone well for you?
Yeah, it's gone great, like, you know. The lads seem pretty relaxed, like, you know, but they seem pretty keyed up. And obviously, we've just got to go out there and sort of perform.
The team set off for Wembley with a police escort as the supporters converged on Wembley Way. One fan, keen to cheer the Hatters to victory, actually arrived at the stadium without her voice.
Well, we had a party last night in the Hatters Club. Went on till quite early in the morning. Had a fantastic time. We sung all our way. We're 2 coaches, the rest of us, we sung our way all the way here. And I've now got laryngitis.
I've got some cough sweets for you if you want one.
I'd love one, please.
Well, you've got to cheer them on inside, haven't you?
I'll try my very hardest, I really will.
Who have you got with you?
My husband Rob, my friend Wendy and my other friend Roger. They were at the party last night with me.
You've had a great time already?
Fantastic, fantastic. Yes, we've given a great big card to the players and we all signed it last night. And obviously we wish them very well.
Ricky Hill's back in, does that please you?
Oh yes, lovely, very pleased about it. He deserves that. He's given a lot of loyalty to the club. 11 years, he deserves that. I'm really pleased. I shall have a little week, win or lose.
And what, is it going to be a win though?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Oh, we hope so as well.
2-0.
2-0, right, we'll keep you to that.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Bye now.
One man in good voice was club chairman David Evans. He was an early arrival in the Wembley banqueting suite. The MP for Welland and Hatfield expecting to see a few familiar faces from the House of Commons.
I did give quite a few tickets away. It's unique for them. I don't think that they've had a chairman of a football club as a member of Parliament who's got to Wembley in a cup final, so it was a unique occasion for them. And those that are interested from both sides, I thought it would be a nice gesture for football and for a little bit of tranquility between both sides in the house. That's why I did it.
Were there any people that took the tickets you were a little bit surprised that they did?
No, I think that most people that I offered them to came. We've got a couple of cabinet ministers here and a lot of backbenchers from both sides. No, I think there is a genuine interest in there for football, and there's nothing like coming to Wembley.
Did Mrs Thatcher get an offer of tickets?
Well, Mrs Thatcher is committed to going to the Scottish FA. It's not the FA, the Scottish Cup Final in a week or two's time, and with her commitments there wasn't much likelihood of her coming. But as you know, she nailed her colour to the Luton mast a few months ago, and since then we haven't done too bad.
How would you sum up your day today as Luton chairman?
Well, it's about the mystique of the cup is about a small club overcoming the bigger clubs. Everton, Manchester United, Spurs, those sort of clubs must today be wondering where they're going wrong when you can find Wimbledon in the FA Cup and us in the Littlewoods Cup. So what it is to me is that if you work together as a team, that's from the supporters all the way up to the ball, you all work together, kick in the same direction, you can overcome all the moneyed clubs, and all that means you can actually climb Mount Everest every day, which we do at Luton, and end up becoming world famous, world known, worldwide known, simply because we all try perhaps a bit harder than most other clubs.
It's quite ironic, really, sort of kicked out of the Littlewoods Cup last year, here in the final this.
It is ironic, but that's sod's law. I think the person that made us has a way of paying back debts without money.
While Chairman David Evans took lunch in the banqueting suite, the Luton players were arriving at the stadium in the team coach. They immediately made their way to the hallowed turf. The squad, including Hatter's favourite Ricky Hill, selected for his first-team appearance since breaking a leg at Everton 4 months earlier. As he made his way back to the players' tunnel, he told John Wilkinson how thrilling it was to be back.
Delighted that I've actually been selected without having, as you say, a couple of first-team matches beforehand. I have had a couple of games, but not as many as I'd like. But it's a great thrill to be actually part of the Littlewoods Cup Final.
Now, this is the second time you've been here. Once you played for England here.
Yes, and I played in the Mercantile a couple of weeks ago, and now I play actually in the final with Luton after 13 years. I suppose that's fantastic.
But the atmosphere at the international you played here must be a lot different to this one, is it?
At the moment, yeah, it was a night game. It was different actually. When I actually walked out for England, I was sort of soaked up in the atmosphere. I didn't realise how many people was here, and probably today when we actually walk out with a kit on, we'll probably have the same effect. That we won't really realise the amount of the crowd and whoever's watching. We just try to get on and do well for the side.
Ricky Hill and his teammates returned to the dressing room, re-emerging at 2:15 for the Littlewoods Cup Final.
The teams coming out of the tunnel, the Football League official leading the way. And on our side, the near side of the field, is George Graham leading Arsenal onto the field, and alongside him the very debonair-looking Ray Harford. He said that this is the part of the day that he least looks forward to. He's not a public man. He doesn't enjoy leading his side like this, but, well, he says it, but I can't believe that, because he's walking proudly in front of his side. Steve Foster just behind him, and this crowd have given these two managers and their teams the most tremendous welcome. Steve Foster waving to family and friends in the crowd. Behind him, the diminutive figure of Danny Wilson, and there behind him, the Welsh under-21 international, Andy Dibble. That was the surprise as far as I was concerned, because I understood that Les Seeley might be making a return to this Luton side for this big game today. Whether he was not fit or whether Dibble was in fact Ray Harford's first choice, who knows, but Dibble is there, and he looks as pleased as punch as the two teams line up below us. Ray Harford looking this way, and just below us a huge contingent of Luton Town supporters in the enclosure down below, and Ray Harford waves to those fans. In fact, he's taking it all in. He's looking round up into the crowd, looking for friends, looking for familiar faces. A friendly word there with the referee in linesman, puts his arm round the referee, Joe Worrell of Warrington, And all Ray Harford is doing is just gazing into the stand, gazing into the crowd, trying to find familiar faces. Looking down that lineup, behind Andy Dibble is Rob Johnson. There I can see Kingsley Black. What a day for this 19-year-old. This time last year he was at the Luton Sixth Form College, and here he is today at a major cup final at Wembley Stadium, and a day that young man will never forget. Now Donaghy down there. I was a little concerned in the CMOD Cup that Donaghy really did look very relaxed, probably too relaxed on that day, but not today. He's standing, he's talking, he's moving, he's chatting with Steve Foster. Down there also the two substitutes named today. The substitutes, of course, for Luton Town, Ashley Grimes and Mark Steen. So the Luton Town now lined up as we look at them down below the royal box on the right-hand side. But now the guest of honour, Lady Grantchester, who is a director of the Littlewoods organisation, moves from the royal box down onto the touchline, where the skipper of Arsenal, Tony Adams, is introducing Lady Grantchester now to the side. She is followed by Philip Carter, the president of the Football League, and that familiar frame following him is Graham Kelly, the secretary of the Football League. The two men, of course, who were so instrumental, so involved in the Luton Littlewoods Cup controversy 12 months ago. The two men who came face to face with the Luton board in that now very famous, or should I say infamous, meeting at Villa Park, where Luton's future in the cup competition was discussed and Luton found themselves excluded from the competition. But they're here today, and Lady Grantchester now moves across in front of the photographers and shakes hands with the big man himself. His white headband there stands out in a crowd, whether it be at Wembley or wherever, and Steve Foster now very proudly presents his side. Substitutes Ashley Grimes and Mark Steen. There's Mal Donaghy, the Irish international, who just 7 or 8 days ago was carried from this field on a stretcher with serious leg injuries and ankle injury, and how concerned we were then. And let us at this time pay tribute to the Luton Town Club doctor, the specialist that Mal Donaghy has been seeing, and of course Dave Galley, the Luton Town physiotherapist, for doing such a marvellous job in getting this young man back in the side. Lady Grantchester now has come to the end of the Luton lineup nearest to us. She's wearing a salmon pink outfit, and she's just finished talking to Ray Harford, and she's now in conversation with today's match officials, led by Joe Worrell. And when Lady Grantchester, of course, leaves the field and moves towards the royal box, she will, of course, stand and face the teams for the playing of the national anthem. She's moving now towards the bench. I can see Jimmy Ryan, who we heard from just a moment ago. I can see John Faulkner, Ron Howard, who we also heard with our players profile, and Dave Galley. But they all now lift themselves from the bench and stand for the national anthem.
The preliminaries over, the game got underway.
And the referee now, Joe Worrell of Warrington, calls the teams to order. And moving up to the centre of the field, Danny Wilson looks as though he's about to set this game in motion. It's the 1988 Littlewoods Cup Final. It's Luton Town against Arsenal. It's about to get underway. And off we go. The ball played by Danny Wilson, back immediately to Priest and played upfield by Rob Johnson. Long ball played forward, but into the arms of the giant Arsenal goalkeeper, John Lukic. Lukic, who has the most enormous kick, and a kick that paid dividends certainly in the semi-final games against Everton, both at Goodison and at Highbury. Sees the ball way upfield now, but it goes for a throw to Luton. Over on that far side of the field, Luton Town in their white shirts and black shorts, playing from right to left as we look at them. And Steve Foster plays the ball upfield, tries to find Harford, but it's cleared away by Kevin Richardson of Arsenal once again for a throw to be taken on halfway.
A crowd approaching 97,000 helped to create a wonderful cup final atmosphere. The The early minutes were tense, but Luton Town settled first, and 13 minutes into the game laid the foundation they needed.
The Luton attack can regain possession, still inside the Arsenal box. A chip coming over from Priest to pick out Steen and Black, but Smith and Winterburn get it away for Arsenal. Priest out on this left-hand side. Rocastle comes across to cut out the pass. Black is brought down. Foul, says referee Joe Worrell. And we're about 30 yards out from the Arsenal goal line. A little bit of nerves just there, particularly to start with in the Arsenal defence. But at the moment when Luton could have really taken some advantage in this game, a little bit of nerves to show in the Luton front three. But Priest has the free kick. Takes it left-footed. It's a long, flat kick. Comes to the angle, far angle of the box to Foster. Who's inside? It's Steen. He's onside. It's goal number 1. Luton Town has scored and he beat the offside trap. Brian Steen has beaten the Arsenal offside trap. He has given Luton Town a lead off for 13 minutes. The cross from David Priest from the left, and the key area, Steve Foster with a header inside the box, and Brian Steen was there in all sorts of space. Goal number 1.
Well, Ray Harford must be delighted, relieved with the goal, but delighted with the way the Hatters are playing, because they seem to have settled that much quicker. They're playing the ball around beautifully, and when they put that Arsenal defence under pressure for a minute or so there, they were in tatters. The Arsenal defenders running around in circles, and when the ball came to Brian Steen, as anybody in the Luton Town backroom staff will tell you, he's the finest finisher in the business, and he just proved it.
Luton Town, they scored.
In a very ordinary first half, Luton Town had the better of the play. As the interval approached, the Hatters moved forward again in search of a second goal.
Foster plays it out to Kingsley Black, but he has the ball taken from him by Nigel Winterburn, and it goes for a throw-in on this near side of the field. Away to our left, it's the Luton left. It's taken by Rob Johnson. Johnson looking for the short ball. No, he goes to Steen up the line. He turns, plays it into the edge of the box. Mick Harford with an opportunity, but that ball was always going wide. He kicked it from left to right, across the face of the 6-yard box, and John Lukic just moved across his goal to shadow the ball safely across the byline. And Mick Harford at the moment hasn't had a real clear scoring opportunity since he put that header over the bar when he out-jumped John Lukic and the ball nestled into the top of the netting. Crowd now whistling for half-time. Luton Town fans will be happy to see their side go in at 1-0. George Graham just lounging back on his seat on the bench in a black suit below us, and Ray Harford there not happy about something that happened out on the field, and he lifted from his seat on the bench like an Apollo rocket straight up in the air, shouting at referee Joe Worrell. But a completely motionless George Graham, who cannot be happy with the way his Arsenal side have played in this first half. They've looked rattled on a number of occasions. They look good when they're going forward. They do create some menace in the penalty area, but as yet they have not found that net, and they trail by a goal to 0. Joe Worrell blows the whistle for half-time. The players head for the tunnel, and after 45 minutes in the 1988 Littlewoods Cup Final, half-time score, Luton Town 1, Arsenal 0.
The teams came out for the second half knowing that up to this point the game had not been the Cup Final classic the fans had hoped for. But the second half was a thriller. Arsenal took the initiative and put the Hatters' defence under tremendous pressure. But having said this, the Hatters almost went 2-0 up after 49 minutes.
But it's Harford all on his own on the left-hand side now. He's got Steen inside as he cuts inside. Who's inside? Steen! Goal number 2! Oh no! Turned away by John Lukic. My word! A perfect and each perfect pass from Harford to Steen, and the ball took hours to reach the hand of John Lukic, and I think about 35,000 other people in this Wembley Stadium thought that was goal number 2.
And at this end of the field, John, while that was happening, Tim Breaker buried his head in his hands. He couldn't believe it, and how John Lukic recovered and how that ball went round the post, I don't think I'll ever know.
The Gunners survived that threat and continued to storm the Hatters' goal until they drew level in the 71st minute.
Luton Town still lead to that 13th minute goal by Brian Steen, and they are only 20 minutes away from winning the Littlewoods Cup in 1988. But Arsenal have this free kick. Gus Season and Paul Davis are over it. It's turned back for Davis. He chips it forward. Now Foster's getting get up to push it. There's a goal down there. There's a chance on. It's in! Martin Hayes has the equaliser for Arsenal. It came from the free kick, and he's going to be mobbed by his Arsenal teammates because Luton Town's lead has been cut to the quick by Martin Hayes. Foster tried to get ahead to it and tried to carve out a clearance, but Hayes was there to seize it, and the equaliser belongs to Martin Hayes.
Yes, Foster climbed high above the onrushing Arsenal forwards, and he headed the ball down from the edge of the 6-yard box towards the penalty spot, straight at the feet of the onrushing Arsenal forwards, who stroked the ball out to Martin Hayes, and from that sort of short range on the left-hand side he made no mistake, and one really can't blame Andy Dibble in that case. Martin Hayes, so prolific a goal scorer and so dangerous up front, puts them all level. 26 minutes into the second half, it's now Luton Town 1, Arsenal 1.
And suddenly the whole situation of this cup final has changed, and away to the left, the sea of red and white from those Arsenal supporters who themselves were holding a choir practice earlier on this afternoon, hours before this game even kicked off. They were the first ones into Wembley Stadium, and at last they had something to sing about. And the silence that was down at that end behind the Arsenal goal in the first half has now descended over the Luton Town end, as they have the singing to do to get behind their team and to try and get a second goal out of this second half without their leading goal scorer Mick Harford, who was brought out of this game after 62 minutes.
Arsenal had clawed their way back into the game, and by maintaining the pressure, they went ahead 3 minutes later.
The ball, but Arsenal come forward now through Kenny Sanson down the left-hand side to Hayes, the scorer of the Arsenal equaliser just a few minutes ago. The ball goes in, it's intended for Thomas but falls for Foster. Hayes bustles forward, picks out Rocastle. Arsenal still coming forward. This time it goes out to Smith down the right-hand side. Is it number 2? It is! Andy Dibble has been beaten from the right-hand side, and Arsenal lead after 29 minutes of the second half through Alan Smith. Goal number 2 for Arsenal, and Luton now face an enormous task if they're to get back into this game. Alan Smith, who is their leading scorer in this competition, who scored at Bournemouth and Doncaster and scored the third against Everton, has the second against Luton Town in the final. And it looks as if Ashley Grimes might be coming into this Luton Town side. He's sent scurrying away down the touchline in front of the main stand and away from the Royal box. And suddenly Arsenal have all the impetus and have all the confidence on their side. The football is theirs after Luton Town had led for 70 minutes.
Well, now is the time that Luton Town must show their character. The sad thing was, in that movement that led to the Arsenal goal, that both the Luton central defenders, and I break off because Kingsley Black fires the ball in from the left-hand side, and it's Luton coming forward again. Ricky Hill dropping deep in midfield, plays the ball to Tim Breaker, tight on the touchline, back to Hill, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, on this near touchline, and the ball put away there by number 4 Michael Thomas, and it's a throw into Luton. Luton with 15 minutes remaining to find the equaliser, and it's Ricky Hill. Brian Steen back to Hill, tight on the touchline. 2 Arsenal players in attendance, and the ball is won by Michael Thomas. Tries to find Hayes. Hayes bundled down by Foster. And as I was saying, the sad thing that led to the Arsenal goal was that both Foster, first of all, committed himself and was beaten to the ball and fell in a heap to the ground. And then, in an attempt to cover that situation, Mal Donaghy committed himself and he too went to the ground, and Luton found themselves with both their central defenders on the deck and without cover. And when that ball went across to Smith, once again he made no mistake from short range and beat Andy Dibble very convincingly. And now, as the Arsenal team move forward again into the path of Hayes, away to my left-hand side, the whole of that end of the stadium is constant motion and movement, red and white flags and banners being held aloft and signalling the success in this second half of this North London side. They are the Littlewoods Cup holders.
Despite the scoreline, Luton Town were playing impressively, producing the type of football that had escaped them during the weeks leading up to the Littlewoods Cup final. But they were 2-1 down, and still Arsenal pushed forward. It was now that Andy Dibble, dramatically thrown into the FA Cup semi-final after an injury to Les Seeley 2 weeks earlier, came into his own.
Richardson gets in. It's a cross to Paul Davis, who's some 2 or 3 yards outside the Luton penalty box. There's a shot. Dibble touches it over from Alan Smith. A casual header by Smith, and Dibble is there with that enormous, great big Welsh right hand to touch it over. And Luton Town can live again, as Smith crept up on his own, undetected at the back of the Luton Town box, and Andy Dibble was the only man there to stop him.
And they're now in the lead with just 13 minutes to go in the second half. And there's goal number 3. No, it's off the line. It's in again, and Foster puts it away. The ball hit Dibble, I think. It went up onto the crossbar. It came out to Martin Hayes. It was driven in again, left-footed. And Steve Foster bundled it away. And suddenly, Arsenal have the initiative. And as the ball comes across from the corner, up goes Tony Adams. There's the knock-on, and another brilliant save by Dibble off the head of Alan Smith. The knock-on by the skipper, Tony Adams. 3-4 yards out at the most was Alan Smith, and as he flicked it goalwards, Andy Dibble pulled off the most remarkable reflex save to push it over the bar.
With 11 minutes to go in the second half, and Smith is onside. It could be number 3 if he can get past Dibble. He slips it in, but Dibble is there, saves the ball again from Alan Smith. A sitter of a goal. It could have been number 3. But Smith, who seemed to fall to just a few yards from the huge figure of Welshman Andy Dibble, just poked it into his chest, and
Dibble playing his way towards the Littlewoods Man of the Match award. The prize, a rose ball and a £1,000 cheque, which the Welsh keeper was to donate to the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. The incident that sealed the decision and turned the match in Luton's favour came 9 minutes from time.
But it's a penalty. It's a penalty as one of the Arsenal players goes down. Tim Breaker goes across to petition the referee, Joe Worrell. He walks away. It looked like the boot of Ricky Hill, and there's going to be a booking in here as well. He sends Andy Dibble away. Steve Foster wants to go over to argue the toss. Mal Donaghy wants to know what it was all about, but it is a penalty. And it is going to be Nigel Winterburn, I think, who is going to take this. He places the ball coolly on the spot. All the players are going to have to reassemble outside that 18-yard box. He's yet to get up. It looks like Nigel Winterburn, who's going to take it left-footed as Dibble prepares himself for the penalty. Could be goal number 3, pushes it to the left, and Dibble saves! Dibble saves the penalty. He goes to his left, chooses the right side, and Winterburn is beaten along with Alan Smith and David Rocastle. Andy Dibble has really earned his spurs and all the praise that will be heaped on him at the end of this game, because he is still continuing to give Luton Town a shouting chance in the Littlewoods Cup final.
Andy Dibble became the Hatters' hero in the Littlewoods Cup final and gave Luton the lift they needed in the last 8 minutes of the game.
It's a heck of a game of football we've got here at Wembley as it comes out to Rocastle on the right-hand side. Steen and Grimes hustle, but Rocastle goes through their man Rob Johnson. The cross comes over. No problem for Dibble as that particular cross flies over his bar, and I wonder what is going through the mind of Andy Dibble, because he stopped a point-blank shot from Alan Smith and has also saved a penalty from Nigel Winterburn.
Absolutely no movement at all on the Luton bench down below us. I think Ray Harford trying hard to shout instructions to his team, but the animation coming from the Luton bench as George Graham and the coaching staff continually leap to their feet to instruct their players as this game now goes into the final 8 minutes, and it's Arsenal with possession again deep inside their own half of the field, and all they want to do is pump it forward. Rob Johnson out sprints there Martin Hayes and gets the ball back to Dibble. Dibble will quickly want to kick this ball forward, and it drops now beyond the Arsenal back forward, deep into the Luton half of the field, in the Arsenal half of the field. And there is little Mark Steen, and he's brought down in the penalty area, kicks it back, places it inside. and it's blocked. It's got to be a goal. It's a goal, and it's scored by Danny Wilson. That really was justice, because Mark Steen was brought down in the area. He was brought down as his path through the penalty area was blocked. It was a dreadful case of obstruction, but it went out to the far side to Kingsley Black, played back into the centre as Brian Steen drove in a shot. It was blocked by the keeper, John Lukic, and it came out to Danny Wilson. The little Irishman stroked it home. It's 2-2.
John, I wonder what you're doing on the evening of May the 4th.
Yes, replay day is May the 4th, but let's not think of replays, because both these sides are producing the sort of football that could produce the most wonderful end to this cup final. Whichever way this goes, never let it be said that these two teams have failed to entertain. It's been a cracker, and now Steve Foster plays the ball back to Dibble and is instructing his side, is directing his side. The giant general telling Rob Johnson where he wants that ball put. Johnson will play it back to Dibble. Yes, we've now got 7 minutes on my watch remaining, and it's 2 goals apiece. The Hatters' character has come to the surface once again. Pump forward, Gus Caesar climbing all over Brian Steen, and it's a free kick to Luton Town. Ashley Grimes with this shot, and oh how we remember that free kick that Ashley Grimes took in the second leg of the semi-final against Oxford. A similar situation, but on the other side of the field, similar distance out, and with what Ron Howard calls a cultured left foot, he drives it in. Up goes Foster. There's Ricky Hill. It's bouncing about. Arsenal clear it only as far as Davis on into the path of Thomas. Thomas will spray it out to the right into the path of Rocastle with Donaghy going across to jockey for position. They've shut the door on him, and now he's going to have to perform a miracle to get out of that situation, and the Irish international beats him to the ball and clears it upfield to Mark Steen. Hardly time to pause for breath in this game at the moment, as Steen plays it back to Ashley Grimes. Ashley Grimes plays it square from left to right on the halfway line to Breaker. Breaker brings down Kevin Richardson, and that will be a free kick to Arsenal. The Gunners going forward again.
But a point about that goal, John, and you mentioned it just a few minutes ago, talking about the equaliser, is that Luton have that character back at the crucial point of the game as we approach full time. Can they look for a winner, we ask, if they can hustle and if they can bounce the ball in and refuse to bow down? And that really is the whole point of the Luton Town game. If they can keep this going, Danny Wilson had to leap across the back of that Arsenal goal in order to reach the ball with his head. But Andy Dibble, who has given Luton Town so much in this second half, has the task of getting it underway for Luton again. He tries to pick out Mark Steen, but Nigel Winterburn can take that ball. He releases Martin Hayes. He tries to get past Foster. Foster is penalised. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal, about 6 or 7 yards out from the Luton penalty box, as Foster just ducked in front of Martin Hayes as he was coming forward and going goalwards. We're about 6 or 7 yards out from the Luton Town penalty box. Danny Wilson and Kingsley Black are forming the wall 8 or 9 yards back. They'll need to go back another yard. The two Steen brothers join in there. Mark Steen pushes his way into the middle. Davis is left there. It's going to be the same sort that got the goal in the first place. It is. It's chipped into the heart of the Luton Town defence, but it is got away by Foster to his former Brighton colleague Danny Wilson, and away come Luton down the right. Hill tries to play the ball to Mark Steen. Brian Steen is on the inside with his hands in the air. Just wondering how that move managed to break down, because I think Ricky Hill just wanted Mark Steen to escape away down the right, see if he could find his way past Caesar and get the ball across, but that is all academic at this stage of the game, because Lukic will get the game underway with a long kick that falls immediately into the centre circle, and Luton now have a bit of energy about their play. It's won though by Kevin Richardson to the centre, into the centre circle for 21-year-old Michael Thomas. Arsenal coming forward now through Rocastle. They're bringing people forward. Grimes has to try and push Rocastle off the ball, but he's going to fall to Michael Thomas with a shot. It goes wide. It'll hit the long zoom lenses of the Fleet Street cameraman behind. A shot, and dangerous indeed it was, had the position just been a little bit better, but Andy Dibble has another goal kick. Arsenal retract and retrace their steps back up to the halfway line. Dibble looks down and surveys that enormous long Wembley pitch. gets it underway and releases an enormous long goal kick with his left foot. Tries to pick out Steen, but the header belongs to Gus Caesar. It only falls to Brian Steen, but his pass is intercepted by Winterburn. Arsenal have possession, and it looks as if we're heading into extra time as the ball from Winterburn goes out to the left-hand side, intended for Smith, but Tim Breaker can take it for Luton Town. Smith, though, wins the tackle. Brace was pushed off the ball to Sanson. Arsenal across the midfield now to Paul Davis. A left-footed cross will release Martin Hayes, the scorer of the Arsenal equaliser. Donaghy, a nervous and very dangerous header back to his goalkeeper Andy Dibble as Hayes came into chase. Dibble wastes no time and gets the ball away down the left-hand side to Rob Johnson. Now it's Kingsley Black, the young 19-year-old, cuts his way inside Michael Thomas. Steen is there to help out. There is Gus Caesar threatening Brian Steen, but Ricky Hill is there to get the move underway for Luton Town again, and Kingsley Black is there. Who's inside for the cross from Black? It's going to be Mark Steen, but it's got away by the Arsenal defence, but only as far as a yard or two out from the Arsenal penalty box to Ricky Hill. But as the ball came across at the end of that move intended for Mark Steen from Kingsley Black, Steen and Steen just a couple of yards offside.
And the Wembley officials anticipating extra time because the Beakers and the Orange Squash have arrived down at the benches below us, and with just over a minute remaining on my stopwatch, it looks as though we're going to get a break and another 30 minutes football. Extra time will be played in this game this afternoon, and as John said, then if the result is not settled after that, it's a replay, we believe, here at Wembley on May the 4th. But what a cracking tie, and the whole mood and atmosphere of the afternoon summed up by the balloons that are bouncing and jigging across the pitch at the moment. We've had red and white balloons, we've had blue balloons, and quite a carnival atmosphere to grace this 1988 Littlewoods Cup Final. Luton Town 2, Arsenal 2, and a free kick to Luton and the Northern Ireland international, Danny Wilson. The much-travelled Wilson now stands alongside Ashley Grimes. Foster on the far post, runs in now, ball headed away by Adams, and Foster takes him out with a shoulder charge there. In comes the ball for Ashley Grimes.
It's the winner!
Luton have scored!
Brian Steen!
Brian Steen has scored the goal from close range, and on my watch it says 45 minutes. And that was the most remarkably floated ball into the box. Foster lost out to Tony Adams. He barged Adams to the ground. The clearance fell out again to wide on the right. It was played back in, and there was the man having his benefit season for the Hatters, Brian Steen. He puts the Hatters 3-2 ahead.
My watch says 45 minutes and 36 seconds. I don't know what any other watch says, but the whole point of that cross was Ashley Grimes was completely out of position. He was on the right-hand side, and he got the cross in with his left foot, and Brian Steen was there just to tuck it home past the struggling figure of John Lukic, and the Arsenal, we've won!
Luton Town have won
the Littlewoods Cup!
David Evans is on his feet. He is hugging and kissing his wife Janice, and not a man or woman is moving away to our left as we look at the Arsenal end of the field. It really is the most remarkable scene, and down on the field John Faulkner kisses Brian Steen. He bangs Ricky Hill on the head.
Ray Harford kisses Andy Dibble, which is one of the most important gestures you'll ever see in a cup final.
There's more kissing here this afternoon than has been seen in Luton for many a year, and Ray Harford has done it. He has claimed the first major trophy for Luton Town Football Club in their 103-year history, and again I look left and not a soul stirs above that tunnel. Arsenal have lost their Littlewoods Cup, and the Hatters have brought a trophy back to the Kenilworth Road boardroom.
The team that was excluded from the same Littlewoods Cup on the 22nd of September 1986.
And the longest face in that royal box will be the Football League president, Philip Carter. And David Evans said the one dream he had was to see Philip Carter's face when that trophy was put into the hands of Steve Foster. David Evans' wish will come true today. In the 1988 Littlewoods Cup Final at Wembley, the final score, Luton Town 3, Arsenal 2.
Luton Town claiming the first major trophy in the 103-year history of the club. The man to collect the Littlewoods Cup on behalf of the Kenilworth Road team, skipper Steve Foster.
And Steve Foster has discarded the headband and he now moves to the Royal Box and he will receive that trophy from Lady Grantchester, the 3-foot-high Littlewoods trophy, and David Evans congratulates him, and David Evans waves his arms in the air as Steve Foster holds that trophy aloft. On the field, Jimmy Ryan, David Oldfield, Ron Howard, John Faulkner, all the backroom staff are dancing and jigging and cuddling and hugging as the Luton players now move across the Royal Box and collect their cup winners' medals. Arsenal now, the sad picture of the Gunners walking away to our right to just acknowledge the cheers of the crowd, and they will go to the Luton end of the stadium first, and knowing Luton supporters as I do, they'll get a tremendous ovation because Arsenal contributed to what has been the most remarkable cup final this afternoon. But what we're waiting for is Steve Foster to re-emerge from the Royal Box. He's now at the bottom of the steps, he's being kissed, he's being patted, and he now is just patted on the back by Jim McCabe, the kit man there. Jim McCabe collecting up the trophies, each player getting a small replica of this Littlewoods Cup. Jim McCabe collecting them for safekeeping so that the players can go on their lap of honour, and back out onto the pitch comes Steve Foster, and Luton Town have won a cup.
Foster, denied a Cup Winners' Medal with Brighton in 1984, finally succeeds with Luton Town. Having collected the trophy from Lady Grantchester, the Hatters paraded it before their fans.
And they start their lap of honour. Luton Town holding aloft that Littlewoods Cup as they wave and salute the thousands of Luton Town fans who have travelled from Bedfordshire down to Wembley this afternoon. And what a profitable journey it was, not just for the fans but for the team as well. The Luton Town players now jumping up and down in delight, waving those Luton Town flags, and in return those thousands of Hatters fans waving their flags back. They can't believe it, but Luton Town have won the Littlewoods Cup. The lap of honour now really getting underway. Everybody shouting, everybody cheering as the sun continues to beat down on Luton Town Football Club here at Wembley, where they've just won the Littlewoods Cup final. Yeah, I can see Mick Harford punching the air. He takes the cup and he runs towards those Hatters fans. Listen to them cheer. If he could get into that crowd, he would. He's gone right to the very perimeter of the Wembley Stadium turf there. He's running onto the dog track just to get as close as he can to those fans and to say thank you. Thank you for coming, thank you for supporting us, and thank you for this victory in the Littlewoods Cup final.
As their lap of honour approached the players' tunnel, John Wilkinson attempted to get their reaction to the cup victory. The first player to express his delight, Ricky Hill.
It's a fantastic performance by the side. I'm just lucky to be one of the 11 who was out there, especially as my first game, as you say, for 4 months. I thought, the lads done tremendous on the day. We didn't give up when we were 2 down, when we should have been winning, and then we come back at the end fantastically.
But Andy Dibble did well to save that penalty.
Was a turning point. Yeah, fantastic save. It's in the bottom corner. If that had gone in well, it's good night, but Andy was superb throughout, and that just capped the ice and the cake for him.
We thought when Mick Harford went off, we thought you might be struggling a little bit.
We did, because when we were playing long, they were heading the ball straight over us, and it was coming back, and we were under a lot of pressure. But then, once Andy made that save, we cut together, and from there it was Danny done fantastic, get in there, equalised, and then last minute, what better time to score a goal than when Brian did.
Well done, Ricky. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And Danny, you got a goal at last at Wembley. Are you pleased?
Well, that's not the word for it. I don't think it's a word invented. I feel at the moment, it's just unbelievable elation, and I've just been honest. I've just come past some of the Arsenal supporters, and there were a couple of lads in tears, and I think we would have been exactly the same if we had been beaten. Well, I know we felt heartbreak before, and you've only got to feel sympathy for the other team. We've got to be elated, for ourselves, because the size of the club at Luton, and to do what we've done this year has been fantastic for the club and everything.
You've been here twice with defeat, and this one makes up for it, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, looking back, if you're going to pick any to win, obviously you would like to win this one, and it's come through in the end. I mean, third time lucky. You know, what can you say? But it's it's just fantastic for everybody who's been here today, and the fans. You've forked out so much money this year to come and watch us. It's been a great reward for them today.
Danny, well done. Thanks very much. Mr. Evans, congratulations. You've done it at last.
Yeah, fantastic. 100 years. I think it all washed through in the last 10 minutes. I thought when it was 2-1 a penalty, I thought here we go again, but once they missed the penalty, the lads picked themselves up, got themselves organised, and it was just a fantastic moment for Luton. I mean, all the people that supported Luton all these years, I mean, to come to Wembley and win the cup, I just didn't think it could ever happen. I don't suppose you did either.
I didn't really, no.
But on the day, I must say, first 20 minutes of the second half, we could have had a couple there. Lucic made a fantastic save from Brian Steen, and then Arsenal got on top. But at the end of the day, I think we just about deserved it. And I'm so pleased for so many of the players and the fans and all the stewards that you know, and not me so much because I'm not a lifelong Luton supporter, but for all those people that just can't believe it, I know they can't believe it, and for us to get 35,000 people here, well, that was in itself something to wonder at, wasn't it?
We were told that you weren't allowed to wear your boaters in the Royal Box, but I believe they suddenly appeared.
Janice wore one all the time. Oh, it's just fantastic, John. I mean, you're a lifelong Luton supporter. You know what I'm saying. Absolutely incredible. I haven't got the vocabulary to describe it, but for Luton to win the Littlewoods Cup, I think it's just unbelievable.
David, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
One of the last men to leave the pitch was manager Ray Harford, who seemed almost shell-shocked as he left the stadium.
Strange. It feels strange. Just this after bit has unsettled me somehow. When you were 2-1 down and you lost Mick Harford, you must have thought going to say, well, here we go again. Yeah, but it was not deserved. I thought we were playing quite well, and just after half-time we had a good spell of about a quarter of an hour when we could have been 2 or 3 up. And the penalty save of Andy Dibble, well, it was fighting, wasn't it?
The manager disappeared into the Wembley tunnel, into the dressing room celebrations, and into the bath. Ray Harford was thrown into the water, suit and all, by his victorious Hatters. It was going to be that sort of night, and having finished their Wembley revelries, the team and officials left the stadium on the team coach for the Savoy Hotel in the West End of London. There was a short period of privacy for Ray Harford and his men before the club's celebratory dinner rounded off the historic day. One of the first people to arrive at the Savoy reception was the Mayor of Luton, Councillor Pauline Woolsey. She too had lost her voice, but was it a recurrence of her laryngitis or from shouting for the Hatters?
It's a mixture of both. I actually had laryngitis earlier on in the week, having shouted for them on Tuesday against QPR. I then had 2 days when I whispered. It started to improve a little bit on Friday, and it's gone again today.
Tell me about your afternoon at Wembley. You must have been delighted to see the boys perform so well.
Absolutely fine.
What do you think this will do for the town?
Tomorrow I don't think you'll be able to see George Street. Next season I have a horrible feeling that we'll be back to crowds of 8,500 and 9,000. The good weather supporters will crawl back into the woodwork from which they've come for this final.
David Evans' arrival at the Savoy sparked the most incredible reaction, the cheers ringing round the West London Hotel. The chairman's wife Janice expressed her delight in the traditional way.
We are absolutely over the moon. We find it absolutely unbelievable.
Did you think this would ever happen?
I think maybe we did in a way, but when you're actually sitting there and it's all happening, you don't really believe it's going to happen, and it was really fantastic.
What does this mean to Chairman David?
I think it means everything to him. He could not believe it. When we actually won and he put his arms round me, he said, "Darling, I cannot believe it," and we were both crying.
You wore the boater very proudly all day.
Yes, and it's something to be proud of. It's very much the Hatters symbol, and of course when you looked to the left of the Royal Box, it was like a sea of boaters and orange, blue and white flags, and it was magic.
you've had to put up with him during the bad times recently and the bad results. Tonight, a big party for the Evans family.
Yes, that's right, and we're all looking forward to it very much.
The champagne-sipping guests waited patiently for the arrival of Ray Harford and his players, and shortly after 10, their patience was rewarded. Luton's goalkeeper turned hero modestly countered John Smith's suggestion that it was Andy Dibble's final.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm just pleased for everyone. I mean, a lot of people have been going on about the penalty save, but the lads have put so much hard work in. And for me personally, obviously it's been a dream come true, and it's a night I'll never forget.
Tell us about the penalty, because the team were 2-1 behind at that point.
Well, when he gave the decision, I obviously thought there was no way it was a penalty, but we just get on with it, and there's no point in arguing with the referee, and I just thought, I've got to stop it, otherwise if we go 3-1 behind, it's going to be trouble. And luckily for me, I guessed the right way and turned it on the post, and the lads responded tremendously, and we turned around and got 2 goals and ended up winning the Littlewoods Cup.
Tell us about climbing those steps and getting that trophy replica. Pretty good, yes?
Oh, it's just a dream come true. I mean, 4 weeks ago I never dreamed of anything like this.
Kingsley Black, the teenage hatter who produced a performance that earned him an international call-up for Northern Ireland, was certainly thrilled by the occasion. John Smith suggested that for the youngster who had made his first-team debut only a few months earlier, and who had only recently left the Luton Sixth Form College, it was a case of starting his soccer career at the top.
Well, I think it might be downhill all the way from now on, really, but it's gone ever so well for me. I just hope it continues.
And quite a party, I should imagine, after the game. I understand the boss went in the bath.
Yes, he had his Sousa's suit on, and the lads threw him in the bath, and he wasn't too happy, but he kept a smile on his face, so that's the main thing.
I hope you didn't have a hand in that.
No, I didn't really, but it was mostly the senior players. I didn't mind, though. I was quite happy to see him go in.
The reception over, the players and guests moved into the celebratory dinner at the Savoy Hotel. A memorable occasion which finally broke up in the early hours of Monday morning. But the private celebrations became public once again on the afternoon of Monday, the 25th of April. For the Hatters returned to Luton for an open-top bus ride through the town and a civic reception at the town hall. 20,000 people prepared to greet Luton Town as the players, including the 2-goal match winner Brian Steen, boarded the bus at Kenilworth Road.
Fabulous, it just shows for the Royal supporters, they deserve it just as much as the players, and it's great for the town.
Now, the boys are all climbing on the bus behind us here. Are they looking forward to this journey?
Yeah, I don't think it's something for most of the boys, but actually seeing the people sort of turn out on the streets, it's fabulous. All day, we've seen flags everywhere, and people do care about football in the town, they're not sort of apathetic, it's fabulous.
I'll let you join your colleagues on the top of the bus. Brian Singh, thank you very much.
The open-top bus set off from Oak Road, and club chairman David Evans was clearly overwhelmed by the crowd response. He'd waited so long for this occasion and was certainly making the most of it.
I have. It's been to be great though. No, I've waited a long time, I've been here, 12 years now. And, 103 years for the club. I worked it out, I'll be 156 if we've got to wait another 100 years. But no, it's really good. And the players have done well. They've did well last night at the reception, the banquet, and they've been good this morning, and they're really in good form. I think they really know that they are now good enough to go, and as I've said already today, to go and do things which would have been unthinkable before we won this cup. I think next year and the year after, next few years, going to be really good for Luton. I think they're going to win some more things.
The bus moved on through the crowded streets of Luton, Ricky Hill acknowledging the cheering fans as the team journeyed past some well-known Luton landmarks.
We're just passing Luton Police Station, and all the policemen hanging out of the windows are waving to the Hatters. I'm joined by Ricky Hill, and Ricky, isn't this an exciting bus ride?
Lovely, yes, fantastic. Great, all the people out and about, it's fantastic to see the town so much alive.
They say that Ray Harford gambled putting you in the side. Aren't you glad he's a gambling man?
Yeah, definitely. I thought I was fit to play, whether or not it was the right decision or not. The cup came there. I know I could do better myself personally, but at the end of the day, the result was what mattered, and we got the victory, we got the medal, and I'm happy about that, John. I'm happy that you paid me.
But look at this reception. There are banners hanging outside the bank window saying, "Well done, Luton."
Oh, lovely. Yeah, everyone's involved, the whole town, all the shops, all the people, the cars are stopped. everyone's just standing here and applauding, and we're applauding them because it's fantastic.
The highlight of the triumphal procession was undoubtedly the arrival of the Luton team in George Street.
We have just turned into George Street in Luton, John, and I have never seen sights like this in all the years I've been covering sport. And what a reception these players are getting, and the bus is stuck. The police outriders, the motorcycles, just cannot carve a way through these crowds. And I've got here now Mal Donaghy. You've played many international matches, but you told me last night this trophy is the tops for you.
Yeah, it's got to be. I've been here 10 years. Obviously, winning the second division was a big highlight for us, but this is beyond comparison.
And what about this reception? This road is clogged up with people.
Unbelievable. I didn't know there was this many people in Luton. Fantastic.
So what happens now when you get to the town hall?
I think there's a bit of a reception for us there. We'll meet the Lord Mayor and that. But really we should be staying with the fans because we've won the cup for them.
The team left the bus to make the final part of the journey to the town hall on foot. They fought their way through the chanting, cheering fans, and as they arrived on the town hall steps, Sandy Fleming described the scene.
The double-decker bus carrying Luton Town Football Club to the town hall is now virtually at the entrance, and the area that was sealed off is now completely filled with people. The band can hardly get set up.
Everybody's back, come on!
As you can really tell from the noise now, the team are just coming up. There's unbelievable scenes in the front of the town hall. Streamers flying in the air, voters everywhere. Players can hardly get through. A long scene for Brian Steen, who can hardly force his way through.
This was Luton's party for its Wembley heroes, and the Mayor, Councillor Pauline Woolsey, claimed she'd never seen a day like it.
Not in my memory, no. Because, of course, the last time we went up to Wembley for a cup, we lost, which is a slightly different thing to bringing it home.
Now, you put on a stupendous reception for the team. Do you feel that the whole town's really got behind you and made it even better?
Yes, I think they have. I've seen ribbons tied on lamp standards, road signs. People have been wandering around with their voters. I think it's absolutely, words just can't describe it, can they?
Luton Town Chairman David Evans, team manager Ray Harford, the players and the club staff all gathered at Luton Town Hall for a public show of appreciation at the Hatters' success. Luton Town made history on the 24th of April 1988 on a sunny Sunday afternoon at Wembley, claiming their first major trophy since the club was formed 103 years earlier. The Hatters beat Arsenal by 3-2, and skipper Steve Foster was called upon to lift that Littlewoods Cup.
The 3-foot-high Littlewoods trophy, and David Evans congratulates him, and David Evans waves his arms in the air as Steve Foster holds that trophy aloft.